Scorpio, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you may have messages there. And if you've been interested in a personal reading, have a look at the description below because I will be offering an extension to the promotion for the rest of the summer. So it's a good time to get a reading if you've been wanting one. All right, my friends, let's get started. For Scorpio, what is the current energy around Scorpio for the week ahead? Okay, Two of Wands coming through in the reverse position. So Scorpio, you may be feeling a little restless and like perhaps it's time to head off on a new adventure, but sort of that restless energy may be creating a bit of indecision around where to go or what to do or, you know, what's up next for you. Funny seeing the Two of Swords on the bottom of the deck also in reverse. So there seems to be this sort of intentional situation unfolding around you right now. It feels purposeful, it feels intentional. It feels like it's happening to get you out of your comfort zone or move you into a new direction and away from something else maybe. Very interesting, actually. Let's see what the obstacle is here for Scorpio. Three of Pentacles is the obstacle. So yeah, it's interesting. It feels like the obstacle here is to keep building towards something. But then there's this sort of feeling that you have that maybe you want to do something different. So Scorpio, you might be on a path right now that is, you know, just fine the way it is. But for some reason, you're feeling restless or you're feeling like, should I change directions? And then you're sort of, the obstacle is, well, but there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing now. It's good. It's building, you know, I'm building a foundation here moving forward. And it might just be that you're being drawn somewhere else or drawn to something else. And I said earlier, it almost feels intentional because it feels like there's this reason or this purpose that's sort of getting your attention right now. Interesting, seeing the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck. That's kind of how it feels. Like it almost feels like it's coming to you almost intuitively that maybe to consider something different than what you're doing right now. And it's funny. It's almost like a situation where if you were talking to someone about this, you might say, oh yeah, I would totally go for that if I wasn't doing this already. And that's how I'm reading this. Like I would totally go for that, whatever that is for you. But I'm already doing this. And so I think I'll just stay with what I'm doing. But this other thing is definitely sort of an option, this choice, but it feels like it's out of your comfort zone. It would take you away from something that you're already doing, but you sort of feel called to do this. So interesting. Let's see what's top of mind for you as this is sort of percolating. Let's see, Scorpio. Eight of Cups. Okay, so, you know, for some of you, this is intriguing because for some of you, I think based on last week's reading, this could be that you're maybe being pulled back into something from a relationship. And so seeing the Eight of Cups is sort of guiding me to say that what's top of mind for you right now is to get distance from something that no longer serves you. And so it's an interesting combination of energy here because it feels like you're hesitating on changing something because, you know, if you change direction, then what about this thing that you've put in so much time and energy into? But ultimately, it feels like it's time to leave that behind anyway. So that intentional sort of intuitive feeling that came up feels like it's actually guiding you to move away from whatever this Three of Pentacles is, whatever you're currently doing that you may be sort of saying you can't do anything else because you're in the middle of this. There's some guidance here to suggest that whatever you're in the middle of maybe isn't something that you want to continue to be attached to, at least emotionally. Yeah, because bottom of the deck, we see this Five of Cups. So that tells me that there's been some disappointment. There's been something that let you down. And there's sort of this overall feeling of, being down about it, and sort of feeling like disappointed. There may even be some remorse or regret when it comes to this situation. And it's almost like your higher self is guiding you to not let anything stand in your way from moving on from this. Like, let yourself move on from this, and it's okay to move on from this. Even if you have a million things you could say, but, it's almost like those buts don't matter at this point. You have to trust yourself here, and it feels like you're being guided by yourself to move away from something. Let's see what is at the root of this for Scorpio. Okay, so yeah, like we saw in the reading last week, it seemed like Scorpio had maybe gone through an ending that was a bit difficult. We're sort of seeing that continue here in the root of this, seeing the Ten of Wands in reverse, which can be a time where we felt like a lot of weight on ourselves from a situation. It might have been a lot of pressure. It might have been a lot of expectations. It might have been some kind of sacrifice that you were making. It might have been draining you in a way that you felt kind of burnt out by it. And that it was sort of pulling you into drama land here with the King of Cups in reverse. That can really be a time where we're overwhelmed emotionally by the situations happening around us. And it may be our drama or someone else's drama that's bringing us into this sort of feeling overwhelmed and like something's got to give. Seeing the World card come out with that makes me feel like something did come into closure, and that it's kind of like a cycle that's been completed, and there's sort of this guidance for you to walk away. And that's what's on the conscious mind right now. And even if you can think of many reasons why you should stay, which is how I'm interpreting this Three of Pentacles, as this is your reason to stay. But what your current energy is guiding you is to move on. But there is something here that's saying, but, and it's almost like it's too late for buts right now. Bottom of the deck is the Judgment card in reverse, which can be a time where we're not really accepting things, and we may be resisting an outcome that is clear to us as being in completion, right? That a cycle has come into completion, and we may sort of be in denial of that in some ways, right? Let's see what the past influences were here. Six of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Very interesting. So, that tells me that in the past, you may have understood the truth that you needed to walk away, that you needed to leave something behind. The Six of Swords can often be described as sort of a wounded warrior who's leaving a shoreline that was very defeating from the Five of Swords and getting into this canoe to explore a new shoreline, one where they can recover from what just happened. And so it feels like in the past, maybe the recent past, you were certain that moving on would be what serves you. And so I'm not sure if something changed since the past, but I see a change with that Three of Pentacles. That makes me feel like you're coming up with reasons to stay instead of understanding that it's time to go. You know what I mean? You may be coming up with reasons to stay, or you may be thinking that there's a lot of obstacles in creating a new path. And so you're more focused on the obstacles than you are on the healing or the recovery or the moving away from things, right? And ultimately that could be a form of procrastination, and procrastination can be a time where we're just not letting go of something. It's not really that we're not aware of it. It just might be that we don't want to be aware of it, or we'd rather think about something else because this is too intense, Let's see what the upcoming energy is for Scorpio. What's the upcoming energy here? The Lovers. So making choices that are in alignment with your authentic self is what's coming up for you, Scorpio. That's Gemini energy there. And seeing the Lovers come out in your future upcoming energy makes me feel like this Two of Wands is guiding you to something that's more in alignment. But in order to get there, you've got to be willing to walk away from this story that's ended and not make any buts about it. You know what I mean? No buts. Just moving on. And look, bottom of the deck is the Sun, which shows me that by pursuing a path where you really feel like you're in alignment with your true self, you're being authentic, you can be vulnerable, you can express yourself without feeling like someone is maybe going to criticize you or judge you, or just not be in the same space as you, not on the same page. It feels like you're moving towards a situation that's in alignment, but in order to get there, you have to make room for it by moving away from something that's out of alignment. And the Star card certainly is giving me this feeling of optimism for you, Scorpio, that says, this situation was painful, but it's not forever. It's not forever. There's sun on the other side of this. The future is looking bright, but you've got to be willing to walk away from this. And I feel like walking away from it also includes sort of releasing any kind of resentments or any feelings, residual feelings about whatever went down here. Now, let's see, how does Scorpio feel about themselves? How does Scorpio see themselves, feel about themselves? Oh, that's too many. Let's shuffle again. Scorpio, how do they see themselves right now? Thank you. Knight of Swords in reverse. So the Knight of Swords in reverse can be a time where we know something has to shift. We're very aware of it. The Tower is here burning, and there you are. Knights are all about movement. And so seeing the Knight of Swords in reverse, that this is one of the fastest moving knights next to the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Swords moves very quickly and very much towards change ultimately, right? But seeing it in reverse says to me that, again, you may see yourself as knowing that this change is necessary, but again, the procrastination or the hesitation is there, the buts. That's why this Knight is showing up in the reverse, because there's a hesitation, bottom of the deck, Four of Cups in reverse, which says to me that there's a fear of missing out. There may still be an emotional attachment here where you're like, but what if this was it? And I can see by looking at your reading that it wasn't it, because of that Lover's card sitting there in the upcoming future. There's something in alignment for you. You may have outgrown a situation, or it may have outgrown you. Regardless, it's like it's not in alignment anymore. It's now just putting pressure. But I feel like it's come into completion. It's just a matter of sort of accepting it and moving away from it. But I think the ending itself was actually almost put into this narrative to set you free from something that felt like it may be a burden, and it may not have been what you thought it was. But I can feel in the past here that in the past you came into this realization, perhaps I need to move away from this. I think you may have had some clues in the past about that. Let's see how others are seeing Scorpio right now. The Sun. So other people are seeing a lot of reason for you to be optimistic, and that you're moving into something that's sustainable and more positive. So I feel like if people see you or are observing you right now, they may be seeing like this was for the best. When I see the Sun card, that whatever outcome just sort of came into conclusion here, that ultimately it serves you, and that it's obvious on the outer manifestation of yourself, the outer reflection of yourself. It's very clear that whatever has just ended actually serves you, that it's over, and that it needed to come into conclusion. But see, there's the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck, which makes me feel like that may be the case, but you're still fearing this outcome and what it will bring. Like what will happen now is almost the question, right? In your mind. Let's see what the hopes and fears are here for, Okay, so we've got the Three of Cups and the Eight of Wands, which is an interesting energy to feel, because it's like a green light to form new relationships. You're getting these arrows pointing at new relationships, saying, go find these people, go connect with people again, people that get you, people that are in alignment with you, people that have your back, like go find them again, go find these people. And seeing it in hopes and fears tells me that is your hope, that you want to connect with people again, and that you want to connect into relationships that feel like they serve you. But your fear may be that that's not going to happen. You might, when we saw that Four of Cups in reverse, that sort of fear of missing out or feeling like you missed out on something, I think that's your fear. But your hope and desire seems to be forming relationships that feel intuitively in connection with yourself and in alignment with your energy. And, I feel like that is some shadow work that you're going through right now. There's the Devil on the bottom of the deck. So it's interesting. It feels like this is all happening to teach you something. Man, relationships can be our greatest teachers. And sometimes they get so close, they teach us more than we bargained for in terms of a lesson. You know what I mean? But seeing the Devil on the bottom of the deck tells me that this relationship did teach you a lot about yourself and about where you feel in alignment and where you don't feel in alignment, and to trust yourself. Because I see that you may have felt like this in the past, but maybe didn't act on it. And so it's interesting. Seeing the Devil tells me that there's definitely something from this experience that's teaching you a lot about yourself right now. And it's up to you whether or not you integrate that, right? There's the World, also a kind of card of integration. And we saw Judgment in reverse earlier, which says that integration is difficult. Like trying to integrate the wisdom from your experience may be challenging you right now because of the emotions. Eight of Cups, Four of Cups, like King of Cups, like all of those cards coming up tell me that the emotions are really challenging you right now. Let's see what the outcome of this Nine of Wands is. Your outcome. Isn't that interesting? Eight of Wands, Nine of Wands. And the Page of Swords on the bottom of the deck in reverse. So this is a time where you need some self-care, dear Scorpio, and you need to see that you're dangerously close to sort of almost being exhausted by this on maybe an emotional level, a spiritual level, a physical level. It's too much. It's time to sort of take a break and recover from this situation and allow yourself the room to integrate, to take all of this in and see that at any point when you're ready, you can walk away from this. With determination and resilience, you've got to sort of push through and face this ending, to face it and then to care for the self. Because the Nine of Wands can really be an indication that we're needing that self-care more than ever. And seeing that as your outcome tells me that you just need to push yourself a little bit past these emotional obstacles. Because I think intuitively you already know, and mentally, logically, It's just the emotions, right? Even your will is sure. You know what I mean? It's just that it feels like there needs to just be that one step that you take out of this and into the present moment. And seeing this Page of Swords in reverse on the bottom of the deck makes me feel like right now you're aware of something, but you're not taking action on it just yet. And I think it's an emotional obstacle here. Let's see what the final guidance is. Highest guidance for Scorpio before we close this reading. Oopa. Okay. So, oh wow, you got 3 cards. Okay, so we're seeing chop wood coming to the edge and chaos and conflict in reverse. So, chaos and conflict in reverse. I'm going to start here because this is an intriguing card of things getting reorganized around you so that you can see things for what they really are. And that will give you the courage to move on once you can really see that things transpired in a certain way in order for you to learn something about the situation. And now you have the opportunity, chop wood, to sort of sit with that and just be in the present moment and get used to sort of the things that have shifted, as a result of all of this reorganization and redirection, right? This whole reading started with the Two of Wands, which is a time of getting out of your comfort zone and being sort of flexible with the changes and redirections that are happening outside of your control to serve your highest good. And I think you're getting there, right? You're getting there. The courage is building. You're starting to maybe see that there is this sun at the end of the tunnel where, you know, even though you may be sort of still feeling the emotions around this, it could be that you're getting close to making a leap into a new pathway, the pathway that the reading is guiding you towards. This chop wood card, I think, is so interesting to see with the other ones, because it really is a card of sort of grounding into the present moment and sort of reconnecting with your day-to-day life, you know, to sort of be grounded in your everyday experience, and that right now nothing is as important as your need to do the day-to-day things. To let your heart remember that not everything has to be sort of difficult, and that even when the emotions are riding high, there are always highs and lows, and that change is always a constant. And that right now, I think change is coming in to help redirect you and guide you towards something else. So it's interesting. It's almost like right now you're being guided to take your attention away from all of this and to just focus on your day to day, so that you can feel grounded in your present experience without feeling like you're thinking about the past or the future, but just like really connecting to your day. I find I do this in the morning, and it can be very grounding for me to, like, you know, clean your home or prepare a meal for yourself without any distractions, you know, and to even go outside and connect with the earth, and to remember that every moment passes and that nothing lasts. The good moments and the bad moments. Change is the only constant here. And so sometimes that can be a very grounding thought, and it can really bring this sort of feeling like I'm never going to feel better to a close, to bring it back into grounding, into the idea that nothing lasts, everything passes, and everything's constantly changing, right? I'm going to leave it at that for you, Scorpio. I hope this has been helpful, and I'm sending you so much love and encouragement, and I look forward to reading for you again. Take care, my friends.